Well, do you think this footage is real? Let's bring in an expert whose job it is to debunk these kinds of videos during wars and conflicts. Rachel Bagg is the deputy head of Deutsche Welle Fact Check, or DW, and she's in Bonn, Germany today. Great to have you, Rachel.
Thanks for having me.
You know, I can't believe what we just saw. Those war videos, they look so real, but they were actually from the video game Arma 3. How do these types of videos play a role, in the spread of misinformation during war?
This is actually not the first time that we are seeing these videos. So when we saw the clip, we immediately recognized it and we were like, oh my God, we're seeing Arma 3 video clips again with this conflict. So every time there's been an armed conflict in the past, I would say 10 years, we've seen these images pop up. We've seen them from Afghanistan, from Syria, allegedly, from the Ukraine as well. And now we've seen them again in Gaza. It's the same images all the time, trying to deceive people, trying to make it look more, more aggressive than it actually was.
Is there anything when you look at those videos that people at home that would help them identify that that's a video game and not a real war footage?
Yeah, I think number one is it's too well lit. It's a night scenery. So where would all the lighting come from to have that well lit sky, in a night setting? The other thing I think is to look at it and to always be a bit careful and to say, if this was shot at night, like where are all these fighter jets coming from? What kind of fighter jets can I maybe identify? Like, are these realistic models or not? And in this one, for example, the laser, if you look at it, it looks like a movie scene. It's not actually realistic.
You have to look a little closer, basically, and investigate.
You have to look at the details, unfortunately. Or if you have kids in your home, you can ask them and they might be able to recognize it before you do.
True. Use the kids. They're usually very handy. Okay, let me ask about other unique examples that you see in terms of misinformation spreading during war.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, unfortunately, what we see is actually older images, older videos from former conflicts, from former war times that pop up again and again and are reused, repurposed in current situations just to make it seem more dramatic than it actually is, to exaggerate a situation that might not actually be there, just as we've seen in the past few years now with Ukraine, but also with Israel and Gaza, but also in Pakistan and India in the last escalation.
Rachel, what is it about war, about conflicts that makes this such a breeding ground for false info?
I think the problem is people are emotionally charged. So you're easily deceived in that kind of a situation because you want to see what is happening on the ground. Who's the villain here? Who's the enemy? Who is the one who's innocent? And these footages are used to portray a wrong image of the parties which are involved by both sides, of course.
I'm sure you've had your work cut out for you. How does your team decide what to fact check, what to leave behind?
I think what we usually do is we have a rule of like three things that we look for when we want to choose whether we cover a topic or not. Number one is, of course, how viral is a certain video or a certain image or a claim or a narrative. So if this is something which has been shared in the millions, then we say like this is something we should talk about because a lot of people are potentially going to be deceived by it. We also look across various platforms. So we don't just look at Telegram or X or just TikTok. We say like, okay, has it spread across many languages in many platforms? And the last thing is always, how relevant is this information for people in their real life? Is this something that could have an impact in real life on real people? So for example, now Pakistan and India, for example, is this something that could somehow influence how this military escalation could continue or become even worse potentially? So that's where we decide, okay, if all these things are boxes that we can check, then we should be doing a fact check on it.
Well, we always try to help our viewers here, try to debunk things themselves. And I want to take a look at some India-Pakistan examples with you. Here is a claim on X that we have, allegedly showing Operation Sindoor, the strikes the Indian government launched against Pakistan. This tweet has been seen over 5 million times. Rachel, let's take a closer look at the video there. Now, your team found that this is not what the video is showing, what it says. What did you find? How did you find out?
So basically, one of the first things that we always do with any footage we see, when any fact-checking story, whenever there's visuals involved, we always do something which is called a reverse image search, which means we take either the footage or we take a still from a video and we put it into, for example, Google Lens or TinEye. There's our reverse image search tools, and we find out when were these images used for the first time. And with that, we can easily then tell, okay, is this something which is actually showing the current situation, or is this something from way before and it's showing something completely different? In this case, we easily found out with just one click that this is actually footage from 7 months ago when Iran attacked Israel.
So it's a reused photo, just being repackaged and sold to sway public opinion.
Exactly. Most of the time, actually, this happens because it's easier to do.
Right. It's easier to do, right, than find out what's actually happening, and there's nefarious motives behind that. Rachel, I want to look at a second example here, claiming this French-made plane, a Rafale, used by the Indian Army, was shot down in Pakistan. Let's take a look at that viral clip. Is there any truth to this?
Again, this is a false, and people were easily deceived. This was also something which was shared across many platforms, very viral. However, again, something which was taken out of context and presented as something else. So for the average user, again, the easiest way would be to do a reverse image search. We took stills from the video, we did a reverse image search, and we found out that this footage is also much older. This was actually from a military training in Pakistan, where the plane then crashed because of some technical errors. Both pilots survived at the time. This happened in Pakistan, in Multan. But one tip in the video was that the plane, the debris that we were looking at, is actually not from a Rafale. It's actually from a Mirage, which is something that the Indian Army or the Indian Air Force does not carry.
I imagine this takes some time, Rachel, to
Yes.
get at the fact check and actually figure out what is going on here. Sometimes a reverse image search might be quick, but a lot of this is digging.
Yes, sometimes it's a matter of just one click, as I said with the first example, but sometimes it can actually take you hours. So for example, with geolocation, when you need to find out exactly where was this video taken, then it might take you at least 2 or 3 hours. And sometimes when it's multiple cases that we're looking at to put like one piece and two pieces, like all those puzzle pieces together as one picture, then it takes us a lot of time. And with breaking news situations, however, we always try to do the debunking within 1 day, so 24 hours, the story needs to be out. But sometimes we also do deeper digs in stories which are like bigger narratives, misinformation narratives. And there we also sometimes then debunk stories which take a research period of a week or two.
You know, fact checking has always been a part of newsrooms. Now there are whole departments like your own dedicated to, setting the record straight. Yet some critics say, fact checking one post here or there doesn't really work against, the larger fight against misinfo. What would be your rebuttal to that?
Yeah, I mean, that is something I hear all the time. I think we're giving people a chance to find the correct information. So if somebody's out there looking for information, does this video actually show a military jet downed in Pakistan? Has Karachi port been destroyed? If there's a fact check out there, the chances when they're looking for these key terms is that people will find it. So they will find the correct information. So I think that is one option. I think it's just good to be out there to have the correct information. The moment people see fact check in a title, they know this is information I can trust, because it's been fact-checked, because the sources are there, and I can check it myself. I think the second and even more important step is that we're also somehow writing history right now with our fact checks. So especially when it comes to conflicts, when there's a lot of biased information coming from two sides of a conflict, years from now, when people want to read up on it, and history is going to be written down in books, I think fact checks are going to be one of the most credible and unbiased sources that people can be using then for writing down those stories, or even for students to go and check afterwards, what happened in Bucha? Where can I find out about this? And then fact checks will be a really good and credible source.
Rachel, we appreciate all you do, and we're all in the same fight against misinformation here. Great to have you on the show today.
Thanks for having me.